Hello everyone and welcome to this week's video analysis. Um, as you can see today, we're obviously going to talk about Bitcoin, in which case the top has been reached, and also Ethereum, in which it seems extremely likely that the top has been reached, at least the local one. But some other altcoins are moving upwards with strength, which was also stated in last week's analysis with the Bitcoin dominance trades. So for example, we have HBAR, which could very soon reach a new all-time high price. We have LIT, which has reclaimed the horizontal resistance area and could eventually double in price. And also we have AVAX or Avalanche, which is at a very, very crucial level after it just reached the new all-time high. Also, in the end, we will review Near and Dot, which were two of the altcoins from last week's video. So let's start with Bitcoin first. So yeah, like I was expecting the top to go between 54 and 57,000 during last week's video, but yeah, it occurred lower than that, so it barely grazed 53K. And it's trading just above the 0.382 fib retracement resistance level now. Indicators have turned bearish. So we have the MACD, which is not negative yet, but is moving downwards, and its histogram is negative, so momentum isn't there right now. And this is more important in my opinion, the RSI, because it has fallen below 50. And the 50 line can be seen as a, let's say, a bullish/bearish threshold. So when the RSI is above 50, we can consider the trend bullish, but when it's below 50, then we can consider the trend bearish. So right here at July 23rd, the upward movement began and RSI went above 50, sorry, and then it went below 50 here on September 7th. So this can very well be the beginning of a downward movement. Now, when we look at lower time frames, we can kind of see a similar reading, with the exception that it looks more bullish for several reasons. There is a bullish divergence in both the MACD and RSI. Here, and also the decrease looks pretty corrective. It's some type of parallel channel here. I can just use the tool, right? It's even more visible in lower time frames. So if we can see the 2-hour time frame, we get a very, very similar reading. So yeah, this decrease does look corrective. So despite the weakness shown right now, I don't think this breaks down immediately. I mean, sure, I could see it going down to here and validating the channel one more time, but I do believe it will eventually break out and then move towards this 0.5 and 0.618 resistance levels right here. Now let's go back to the counts which we discussed the week prior. Well, basically there are two main counts which I'm trying to keep track of. That's the second one. So isn't there 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 here? Okay, so let me just, remove the visibility here. I'll just do it until the 6th one so it's clearer. And this one, I should have done this earlier, I apologize. So the first one is that we just completed some type of bullish impulse. I mean, we could even do with something like this, I guess. But no, let's just go with this one first, because we have very short wave 1s and wave 5s. I mean, that's still valid because I think they even might be identical in length. They almost are. And now we have an ABC correction. So we'll bounce up in the B wave towards the previously outlined resistance area, and we will fall one more time. Now, if we go back to the long-term count, this would suggest that the upward downward movement has ended here, and now we will begin to move upwards. The other count that I'm looking at is that we're still in a very, very long-term correction. So which would go something like this. So we would consolidate in a triangle first here. And then we'd eventually break down once more. But both have it decreasing in the short term. So depending on how that, like this is my main count, the previous one. So this one, but both have it decreasing in the short term. So depending how the decrease goes, I think I'll be able to determine which is the correct count, but for right now, they both have it going in the same direction. So short-term bounce followed by another decrease. Okay, let's move to Ethereum real quick. I'm pretty sure, no, not pretty sure. I do think the upward movement for Ethereum has ended because basically we have the same bullish impulse here, similar to Bitcoin, but it went really, really close to the target here because so we had the target given by the 161 length of wave 1 and then 0.618 length of waves 1 and 3, the orange one here. So it's very likely that the upward movement has ended here, in my opinion. Similar, we probably have a bounce here and then we'll break down. And yeah, also similarly, the RSI has moved below 50 and the MACD is nearly negative here. So also in Ethereum, I think it's probable that the high has been reached. Just before I move to the next coin, HBAR, I would encourage everyone to join the BeInCrypto trading community, which is an absolutely free community in which I share my thoughts, and we have another different trader who also shares his thoughts there. And we also do interesting events, such as we have this AMA here tomorrow in a very great project, which is called Holoride. So basically, all members are allowed to ask questions, and I or someone else from the community do our best to try and answer them. Now, let's move to HBAR. So, it has been moving really well. So first of all, it has broken out from this long-term descending channel. These are some of my favorite setups whenever we have a breakdown or breakout from a descending channel or breakdown from a ascending channel. It usually means that the preceding move was corrective. So in this case, I believe this entire move was corrective. Not until there, until the low here or here if it's truncated, I'm assuming here. Doesn't really matter right now. And now we're going to new highs. We barely failed to reach a new all-time high, but I think it will do so very soon. Now, if we go to the future movements, we need to use the log chart here. So my most likely is something like this. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Again, target is found in the same way which I usually do them. So we have the 1.61 of wave 4. And we have the length of waves 1 and 3. They both give a pretty similar target between 60 cents and 64 cents. So basically we have fib confluence here. So I kind of like HBAR, not at this price, obviously, but yeah, I think it goes there. Also, indicators are not the 3-day, we don't need the 3-day, but they're still showing strength. There is no bearish divergence here. Just moved above 70, similar with MACD. Super trend is bearish, bullish, sorry, and same with the weekly. Even though there are potential bearish divergences, they're not confirmed yet. So we need to wait until they're confirmed. Meaning if the price makes a higher high here, then we get divergence, then it would break down. So yeah, sure, basically something like this. If we do get that. Now, LIT. Doesn't look that good in the long term, but I like it in the short term for several reasons. Actually, for two main reasons. Now, indicators aren't that bullish. RSI could move above 50, but hasn't done so. And MACD is positive, but has no strength. Now, why I like it? First, because it reclaimed this area here and then validated it as support. Second, because there is almost no resistance above, so it's pretty clear all the way to this like 9.85 area here. And the other is this overlap here. So if this were a bearish impulse to the downside, you do not usually see overlap. But the fact that there is overlap between this low right here and this high right here makes me think that this is an ABC structure, so the price will eventually move upwards. This is not to say that there will not be any short-term decreases, but yeah, I think if this holds, LIT will begin to move upwards. Now let's go quickly to AVAX. So AVX reached a new all-time high, basically here. So while obviously that's a good thing, the bad thing is that since it did reach a new high, it is possible that this upward movement here is done. Right? We have a clear 5 ways up, break the previous high. So whether this is wave 1 and then we go higher or not, I can't determine right now, but it depends on the downward movement. So if we have something like this, A, B, C here, and then we bounce and create that overlap, which we saw in lit. So if we have something like this, and then the ensuing upward movement goes to here, then yeah, I think it goes to new all-time highs. But if it doesn't, and it just goes like 1, 2, like this, then not. So basically, I'm keeping an eye on AVAX, but I'd rather see a bounce than see an overlap, then try to buy in the next retracement, than try to get in here. So basically, it's on my watch list, but I'm not sure what's gonna happen with it soon. But it's really one to keep an eye on, because if it begins running, it can like go upwards really quickly. And finally, just a quick review of NEAR and DOT. So yeah, NEAR broke out as expected. It's still following that parabola. It was about, I think it was here when we looked at it. So yeah, it reached the 1.61, which is the first resistance level and should have been the first take profit target, and now it's returning here. So if this holds, I think it does another move here. If it doesn't, then it starts correcting before going upwards. And finally, let's do DOT. Now DOT had a parabolic ascending support line, but it's not following it anymore. It's kind of following this new ascending support line. It's still fine in my opinion, because it reclaimed this level here, and now it's trying to hold on about the 0.618 and could move there. But yeah, it's not increasing parabolically like NEAR. Okay, so everyone, thanks for being a part of this video, and I will see you next week.